this is a 150,000 series Briggs & Stratton. And basically there's two bolts that hold this flange on for the breather, for the motor that goes in here. Well, first you take this this plate off, which is the air filter and everything inside there. So you take that off, then you take the two bolts and just let this hang here. Then you take you make sure you turn the fuel off, so that way you're not dripping fuel everywhere. And there's a bolt here, and there's a bolt back there. This should pop right off now, as you can see. And I disconnected the oil pressure switch just to do a test to make sure it wasn't that, because I've diagnosed and it comes down to the carburetor being the problem. Not the spark plug, because I changed out the spark plug to the manufacturer's recommendation, a gold-plated plug. So anyways, I got another carburetor that matches this. Carburetor number on this one, if it's 6 digits, it's 795657, or this longer one, which is 343-10811. So it looks like I have a spacer on here for the carburetor to come off a little bit off the manifold of the overhead valve here, this engine, Briggs & Stratton, and it's 7 horse, 250 cc, and this is on the Titan 30-ton log splitter. So you only have 2 bolts that are holding this in. They're 10 millimeters or the star. So I've used 10 millimeter. It reaches in there just fine. A little short socket, which you should be able to then, once you take these out fully. See, I use this as a magnetic tray so I can have all my screws and bolts and everything in. Once you take these out, then you'll be able to unhook right here the throttle cable, plus this little cable that goes in there as well, which goes underneath here for it's not a good spot to even show. So basically when you throttle it up, it'll pull it, and so on and so forth. So anyways, so now I get ready to unclamp this. Once I unclamp that, because I can leave this in place, everything is looking fine, because there's one more gasket back there, and this is a spacer, so it comes off the manifold and allow, you know, for room. It's probably was a bad design, and they had a company and make this work. So because of the shroud right here that goes around all this right here, so they had to actually come out a little bit more. So hey, not everybody's perfect, right? Except, you know, on Saturdays, everybody's perfect. Anyways, stay tuned as I detach this. So detaching it was easy. All you have to do is get it into an angle to where you can actually pull this up and pull this down, and it comes right on off. And as you see, the gasket's still on there. Looks like they use Permatex, which I will use a Permatex on this gasket on this side, and that's it. So the replacement carb for this to be almost exactly the same. As you see here, this is your choke. So I matched everything up one day online, looking on Amazon. This is your replacement right here. You can pause the video and note the numbers. I've already opened this up so I can look to make sure and verify. What I did is I ordered a second one. So the reason why, because if the first brand new one and not even 3 hours on it and it no longer works, tells me how cheaply made these are. My Kohlers don't do this, but I've noticed this does. So anyways, and what I'll be using is high temp, because right here it gets a little warm, but I'm not putting it on this. I'm putting it on this side of the gasket only, because this, I'm not too sure if that's a hard plastic or what. So I don't think there's a need for it, but we could see. we'll see. We'll test it out. So now the cool part is basically you're matching up what you have here. So you know that this piece, because these do not come pre-assembled, is actually pretty easy. There's a little slit right there where you can slide the this part in. As you see, I'm matching the other side. So what I want to do is lay it out exactly the same way as you see there. So basically that'll sit in there as well, but it will go inside that little slit part there. So the other thing I noticed is it comes with another one of these, which it looks a little different than this setup, but we will figure it out and see the best way and best avenue of going with this, because this part just sits right down inside there. And there's a little slot it sits in, just like that. See? Here's the old one. So I noticed a lot of play and a lot of problem and how it's bent off to the side a little bit. This one is a lot stronger. I put the other one in there. So if I open it up, you can hear it move and click. So this one is actually working way better than the old one was. But we'll see. We'll find out here in a minute once I get it back reattached. Same concept is to put this back onto here, these two little spots, because there's a smaller one, I'm guessing a gauge of some sort, that will do that. Then boom, get that hook back on there. Then I put Permatex on here. What I use is a high heat one, gasket maker. Then I will use the, once I find them, the gasket that goes on this one. And because this one goes back here towards the manifold like this,